Hello, everyone in Steelers Nation. I'm Stan Savran. Nice to have you with us. We are in the process of getting nominees for this year's Steelers Hall of Honor induction class for 2021. But we cannot do it alone. We need your help. We're asking you to nominate players who should be considered for induction to this year's class. It's very easy to do, and again, we're relying upon your help. All you have to do is go to Steelers.com or use your Steelers mobile app, or you can actually offer comments in the comments section as we continue along. And here to help us discuss some of those players that you've already nominated is former Steeler running back Merril Hoge. Merril, thanks for being with us. Great to see you again.
My pleasure, Stan. Always good to see you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. We're going to move up guys that you played with toward the end of your years with the Steelers in the 1990s. And a guy I wanted to start with, second-round draft pick, Levon Kirkland from Clemson. The thing he played here a very long time. He should have been, I thought, the AFC Defensive Player of the Year. He was a Pro Bowl player. He was an All-Pro player. And the thing that struck me about Levon as an inside guy in that 3-4, he was listed at 275. That was before breakfast. I mean, Levon, there were times Levon, he was pushing 3 bills, but oh man, could he move. He was remarkable in that regard.
Stan, I'll tell you this. When he was drafted, we went to training camp. He lockered right next to me. And I remember he walked in, he sat down, and I was just like, what position you play? Well, he said linebacker. I said, no way. I was like, when I saw him, it was like a defensive line. Now, people who don't know, Levon Kirkland was one of the kindest. I mean, we still have a friendship. We talk he works at Clemson now. He's a super guy. But I was like, there ain't no way. There's no way. Then we went out to practice, and we started doing these one-on-one drills. And I said, Bill, this ain't fair. This ain't fair, man. We can't block Levon Kirkland. I was like, that's not even fair. We're not going to be around long enough to play on Sunday if we have to do these drills. But he was an absolute beast from a run perspective. And you mentioned his size. Don't think for a second he couldn't drop into coverage, and he wasn't a weak link there either. He was not a weak link. He could move. He can move in ways that you would never dream a linebacker that size could move. But when you talk about an absolute force, a complete game changer, hey, the opponent is like, this guy is going to be a problem. We need to take care of this guy. That was Levon Kirkland.
Well, what a group of linebackers that was. So many, tandems and groups of linebackers. Yeah. That group in the 90s, they were spectacular. Levon, just to give you an idea, he was a member of the NFL's all-decade team. And I remember one game in particular, I can't tell you who they played against. He intercepted a pass 35 yards downfield. Think about that. And he was probably over 290 at that point. And as you mentioned, he's in coaching. He coached a high school team in South Carolina, and a wonderful guy. Wonderful guys certainly have been part of the Steelers tradition, and this gentleman was also a major part and also a member of the NFL's all-decade team from the 90s. And I'm talking about Carnell Lake. Carnell Lake, of course, was drafted out of UCLA. He was a linebacker there. They transitioned him to safety. He was an all-pro there, a Pro Bowl guy there. But what really struck me, Merril, was 1995. Rod Woodson gets hurt in the opening game. They switch Carnell to the corner, and he still is a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, and Stan, right there tells you, if you know anything about how difficult it is to play corner after you've played safety, that's not usually how it goes. Keep in mind, Rod Woodson went from corner, a Hall of Fame corner, and moved to safety. And by the way, Rod probably could have been a Hall of Famer at safety too. But the transition usually isn't safety to corner. It's corner to safety. So that transition, and when it happened, I think speaks the most about Carnell Lake in his football skills. When he came in, we knew right away, that our safety position had changed based on not just his ability to play in all phases, but he was a savvy guy. He was so smart. One day, Carnell Lake and I had a golf tournament together. We launched the Caring Place together and the Grieving Center for a long time in Pittsburgh. And when he converted back to corner, I remember we were talking one day, and he's like, "Hey, do you know how long I can play this game if I play on the corner position versus the safety position? He goes, I hardly ever get hit out there. But I never even thought about that. I was like, I just thought everybody kind of played physical. Like running backs are always, sore after games. He's like, man, I can play like this for another 10 years as long as I keep my speed up. He goes, I could play out there forever. I never even thought about that. I was like, see, like, I'd never even thought about that. But that transition to me, Stan, this makes him as unique a player as there was, not just in Steelers history, but maybe, NFL history, because that just doesn't happen every day.
Heck, it's a great point you make about switching from corner to safety versus the other way around. And one of the things that struck me when Bill Cowher asked him, I'll put ask in quotes, never a peep. Players today might say, I don't want to play there. It's not my natural position. And he was a Pro Bowl guy. He is a member of the Steelers all-time team. And, of course, he was a Steelers secondary coach under Mike Tomlin until just a couple of years ago. And a wonderful, wonderful gentleman.
Yes.
And we talk about Steelers linebackers. Here's another one. Jason Gildon, a third-round pick out of Oklahoma State. Here's a guy who had the Steelers' team sack record until James Harrison broke it again. He's tall, 6'4", long, rangy, could drop in coverage, a great athlete, and just a tremendous linebacker. And that's not easy to say when you're included, when you consider the history and the litany of great Steelers linebackers.
Yeah, I think, you can say, hey, 6'4", 265, 6'3", 255, 6'6", whatever the dimensions are. There's very few people that are imposing, though. And Jason Gill, like, when he would stand out there, he was like, he's just imposing. I mean, that right there. And then now, can you back that look? There's some players you want to get off the bus, but then you don't want them playing. Okay, well, Jason Gildon's the guy, get off the bus, and he's going to be the first one on the field because he's going to wreck your game. I think that his versatility, his completeness, which, we're going to repeat that a little bit, but that's why they're on the list, quite honestly. That's what made them so special. You can't really be one-dimensional and be considered really great. And I think Jason Gildon could do and did do it all. But he had that look, that imposing look where, like, if you're in the huddle with the offense to your opponent, you look peeking out going, oh, God.
He could do it. And he, too, got into coaching. In fact, until recently, he was the head coach at Pittsburgh North Catholic and had a very good record, 17-6. In fact, he, for a while, coached Joey Porter's son, who's now at Penn State. Again, Merril and I urge you to participate. We're just throwing out some names here that some of you have already nominated, but we want to get your nominations. And again, you can do that by going to the Steelers.com site, or also use your Steelers mobile app and offer your nominations for the Steelers Hall of Honor class of 2021. Merril, thanks so much for being here. Great for you to share all your stories of guys that you played with and fought with and bled with for all those years. Thanks, Merril.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, and thanks to all of you watching in Steelers Nation.